Hey, this is Yak, author of Restless Dreams, Look Back at a Horror Classic, and this is your audio recap of that article. Joining me is Steve Bogda and Genki.
What's up?
Hello.
So, I am a huge fan of Silent Hill, particularly Silent Hill 2. It is probably one of, if not my favorite games of all time, and with this article, I wanted to really get across just how I feel the game is, unlike so many other games, a very deep and mature story that really shows the strength of how a game can bring across a storyline. And I hope you enjoyed it.
I felt like your article went more so not only in how great of a story it is, but how it was presented. Not only because we all agree that video game storytelling is very limited and narrative is extremely limited in video games. And it appears that Silent Hill 2, or at least it was true that Silent Hill 2 is one of the few games that understood how to handle that balance.
Wait, what do you mean by limited though? Like you
It's limited in the terms that it's not a cinematic experience. It's
really?
not a story that can. I mean, it's not. It's forced down your throat often. A narrative experience. For example, it'll be most video games are level, cutscene, repeat, level, cutscene, repeat. Just small cutscenes sandwiched between levels. Silent Hill 2, I think, incorporated more story into actual interactivity and the gameplay. Maybe you don't have direct control over the story or what happens, but you do get to experience it a different way that isn't confined to cutscenes after levels.
And a big reason that that can happen is because Silent Hill, unlike a lot of plots, isn't based around an event so much as a place. Silent Hill is the storyline, and how it reacts to the character you're playing is what drives that storyline along, which allows a lot of the storyline to be told through the architecture, the way things like the enemies and the locations you go to, and just the overall tone and feel of the places you go to uh, reflect on the characters that you're playing.
For me, Silent Hill 2 is one of those games that just stands out. I mean, it's a sequel, Silent Hill 2, but it's infinitely better than the original, in my humble opinion. For me, it's just amazing.
I mean, the reason I think that it is the favorite of almost all Silent Hill fans is because unlike Silent Hill 1, which was more about it was more about supernatural kind of a ghosty, demony type story. Silent Hill 2 was very much a character study of James and the other characters in the world, like Eddie and Laura, just how their own traumas lash out at them in this world of Silent Hill.
It's definitely an experience that's interesting, and probably perhaps my personal favorite PlayStation 1 game, at least up there. It's great that you covered it. It's great that you went into detail and went to depth in covering such a interesting and unique title.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
I've never played a Silent Hill game before, but the way that you color it, it sounds like something I should really go and check out. It sounds like it's an even more immersive experience than the Metal Gear Solid games, which I think are really
Well,
strong in terms of storytelling and making it a cinematic experience.
Yeah, I was in the same boat. If you listen to the Majora's Mask recap that Steve did with me, um, uh, that's another game that really surprised me with how he described it and how deep it sounded. I would definitely recommend Silent Hill 2 and really any of the Silent Hill games before they went off the deep end. 4 isn't popular. I wouldn't suggest you starting with that, but it's still worth playing. I'd probably suggest that you start with Silent Hill 2 because they're not really closely related, though there are definitely story beats. Like Silent Hill 2 is actually it actually factors into Silent Hill 4. One factors into Silent Hill 3, but you're not going to feel lost if you're playing any of the games and you haven't played another one. So you can jump in pretty much anywhere in those 4 games. And yeah, I definitely recommend it. If there's anything that I would put forward as why video games are something to be respected, it would be that game.
and that was your audio recap.